Perhaps we can think of the year 2020 as the beginning stages of our collective metamorphosis, the breaking open, the shedding of our outer layer, and the wrapping into the cocoon to prepare for what is to come. The lessons that graced us this year are so great that I'm not sure I could even put them into words. But I'll try. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think of everything that this last year taught me is that resilience, perseverance, and evolution is that of the human spirit. We will always rise to the occasion, for it is what we were brought here to do. Something I learned this year was fear. Now, don't get me wrong. I've known much about fear long before this year came here. But I learned some new things about fear this time around. I learned just how contagious it is. I learned that it can only affect us to the level in which we allow. Fear is woven into our DNA. It's a part of our natural survival instincts. It's been necessary for us to live, to know when to run from that tiger, back away from the edge of that cliff, or not walk down that dark alleyway. But fear only takes us so far, and at some point it takes us over the edge, taking us away from our natural instinct to know what is good and right. I'm not telling you that you should ignore the threats to our society. I will leave it at something simple, because I can't possibly tell you what you should or should not think, and what you should or should not do. But fear is in the heart of the beholder. Proceed with caution, but not too much caution. Another lesson was about cycles and their repetition, both on a small and a large scale. Mistakes, patterns, behaviors, and world events repeat themselves, coming back into our sphere again and again until we finally integrate the lesson. Will I get it this time? The world may never know, but I have a good feeling about it. Perhaps the most important truth that I took away from this year is what I've been calling the both and theory. This is the understanding that not everything is black and white, and that two truths can and often do exist simultaneously. We are moving beyond the binary. Just sit with the idea that something can be both this and also that. There are billions of people on this planet, all experiencing the world from a different, unique perspective. No one sees the world the way that you see the world, because no one has lived your exact conditioning and experiences. Therefore, one person can be living one reality with the truths that have been proven to them based on their beliefs and manifestations, while another person can be living in the same world, same country, same home, and could be living a completely different reality based on their perspective, their truth, and what has been proven to them. Neither perspective or experience is wrong. There is room for both and. Of course, there is always the underlying ultimate truth. This ultimate truth does not take away from the validity of each individual's unique perspective and all of the realities that exist for the people in them are true. However, that brings me to my next point, that there is always the undercurrent of ultimate God truth. This truth is very simple, almost too simple for it to even make sense in our human logical mind. And that truth is that of love. I don't mean the overly romanticized Hollywood love, I mean the love energy that creates everything that you see around you. If you know, you know. This is the one that I cannot describe with words. Christians were so close, missing the mark by only a small margin. Jesus told truth. That truth is simply to love all and know that we are an imperfect extension of the resounding love energy that exists under all that is. It's so much more simple than it seems. God is not a word that needs to be feared or scoffed at. Breaking away from the constraints of religion will set you free and open you to the pure love that God, Jesus, Source, Universe, Spirit intended for you. We have been put here on earth at this time for a reason. There is a sweet spot between getting too caught up in the physical world and all of its drama, and being so detached that one excuses themselves from the responsibility that exists in being human. That sweet spot is the knowing that nothing is in our full control, that everything is unfolding under a divine purpose and plan, and the knowing that our individual thoughts, beliefs, and actions are creating the reality we live in, therefore rippling out into the collective reality. Free will meets fate equals destiny. Humans are not meant to live in separation. We are a collective unit, separated only by these physical bodies. Community is healing, and it's our way out of this suffering. Fear. It is the ultimate method of mind control and blind cooperation. Question everything. Know the potential motives behind the corruption that is woven into our political, medical, and economic systems. There is truth in the middle somewhere, and your intuition knows that truth without any help from news media or even research. Your health and well-being is contingent upon two main things: your stress level and what you consume physically and mentally. Those are two things you have sovereignty over. Recognize this as a way to take your power back, rise, and thrive. The most suffering occurs when you are fighting against your intuition. Intuition, that calm knowing in your gut, is God speaking through you. Listen. Discernment is key. You have the power to choose your choices, rather than letting them choose for you. Sometimes the most important resolution with another comes without that person at all, and instead comes from within you. Life is not perfect, but it is beautiful. Gratitude, bliss, and joy are your birthright. Tap into them and watch our collective rise into what it is destined to: love. We are worthy of a world that is supportive, loving, and for the good of all. Our resources are abundant, our imagination infinite. We are rising in love, leaving fear, greed, and separation behind. Are you here? Are you hearing? It is time now. Love has already won.